Hi, welcome to Matt Talk, a video podcast for the friends and family of Coming First United Methodist Church, for me, Pastor Matt. I thank you for tuning in today. Well, one of the most exciting things happening in our worship at 11 o'clock is the new addition of the puppets to our worship service, as each week a puppet greets our children and shares a message with them. And the puppets are all thanks to Reverend Dr. Terry Walton. And Terry, welcome to Matt Talk.
Good to be with you.
Thank you so much for the puppet ministry. And tell us a little bit about that. How'd you get started with puppet ministry?
Well, I stumbled into it, Matt. When I was a student pastor in Mount Zion, Georgia, I was doing what was called small talk. That's what they called their children's moment. And was trying to look for something creative to do for Advent, the season of Advent. And a friend of mine had told me he had done a series of hats for Advent. So I thought, well, I can do that. So with the help of my very gifted, crafty wife, we put together a shepherd's headdress. I wore one Sunday and spoke to the kids as if I were a shepherd, and we had an angel halo, and that was a stretch, but I spoke as if I was an angel, made donkey ears and talked as if I was the donkey that made the trip with Joseph and Mary to Bethlehem. And
not so much a stretch.
Not so much stretch. That's exactly right. And then I jumped over into Epiphany ever so slightly, got a Burger King crown and put aluminum foil on it and was a king. Well, that was such a big hit with the children and with the congregation. I kept hearing all year long, what are you doing next year? What are you doing next year? And as it is the truth, when you have something that works well, following it up is always the challenge. Well, there was this puppet, and this puppet was just kind of hanging on the bedpost of my sister-in-law's bed. Her name is Charlene, and I began to think about that puppet, and I said, Charlene, what are you going to do with that puppet? She says, I don't know. I said, can I borrow it? That puppet became Alice Advent, and this is Alice here, and you'll get to meet her around Advent.
Welcome, Alice.
And she takes on her own personality and is rather unique in that and helps the kids with the season of Advent, understanding Advent, expectation, anticipation. Well, Alice was such a hit that she was doing Epiphany, she was doing Lent, and she was doing all of them until one day in this congregation, I didn't bring Lester with me today. The kids, the family gave me Lester Lent, gave me this puppet, and he took on the personality of Lester Lent to talk about the season of Lent. Well, things began to progress on a little bit, and then somebody gave me this pink pig, and this pink pig came Penelope Pentecost.
Ooh.
And she took on
her
personality, and she will spend time off and on with the kids during the season of Pentecost, which, as you know, is a long season, Kingdom Tide, all of that. So she's in and out on Pentecost because someone made for me the puppet which became Philippe Pentecost. And Philippe Pentecost shows up, and he has a lot to say in the season of Pentecost, and he sort of takes on his own personality. Some say it ought to be Philippe because of the way it's spelled, but Philippe's mother was French and his father was from Mexico, so he's Philippe Pentecost, and he shares various things about that during the season. So right. We had that going pretty well, and then one day I'm just walking down a mall, and I happened to see this green puppet with a crown on his head, and I said, there's the Epiphany puppet. And so here's Harold Epiphany, and he'll talk with the boys and girls during the season of Epiphany.
Super.
So Elvis Easterwood was given to me by one of the youth, and he took on the personality you've seen during the Easter season. It just began to take off, and it's kind of weird because those personalities just kind of show up when those puppets are on my arm. It's kind of hard to do them unless the puppets are there. Well, over time, various other puppets have shown up as gifts. Here's a puppet that I use occasionally around the time of Easter or around the time of Christmas. It's Barnabas the donkey. And he comes and talks about various
Barnabas.
Ideas. He's already made an appearance to the preschool here as we were approaching Easter and talking about Palm Sunday and those kinds of things.
Super.
And then somebody gave me this one, and this is an ostrich, and this is Aunt Bill. And Aunt Bill is a stuttering ostrich, and her message to the kids is, regardless of what your challenges are, you still have something to give and to offer, and God can still use you. So she shows up every now and then, and somebody gave me this puppet, which is Chester the camel.
Chester.
And Chester shows up around Christmas or at other times to fill in the gap, and he has his own kind of personality. So it started on a whim. It has been my way of helping children feel they are important, which I believe should be the heart of the church, that children know that they are a little more than being seen and not heard. They are really embraced by the church.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the way the church embraces the children, as we say in the baptism of infants, that we will support them and be with them. It's also an opportunity to have a little fun in worship. Across my years of ministry, I've had more comments on the children's sermon than I ever had on my sermon. So maybe at least they walked away with something.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the fun of it all. And thanks for letting me share some of the craziness with the kids. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, people have said, please promise us that you're not going to do away with the puppets. So that's the big highlight. Yeah,
they're kind.
Well, you always have the puppets always share with us a song, and they always share a kiss. What's that about? Where'd that come from?
Again, it's something I stumbled into. It just felt like when Alice started, should be singing something about Christmas, and so she began to sing, and therefore each puppet wanted their chance to sing, and so it sort of took on. And then the kiss, I felt like it was a way to say, God really loves you, boys and girls, and here is a heavenly kiss. It symbolizes one kiss for one, but it's God's kiss upon all the world. And, you know, these puppets have been in a variety of churches. I was thinking the other day, they've been to Bolivia, they've been to Honduras.
Wow.
They've done a variety of things with children everywhere, and it's really kind of neat to see what a child that maybe is not having what they need, adequate food, adequate attention, how a puppet in the middle of whatever brings a smile to their face. And I try in that moment to capture the idea that God loves you, will always love you, and you are important, and His love is real. It's as real as a kiss upon your face. So it's been fun, and thanks for letting me share it, because they've been a little mad at me. As a district superintendent, the puppets didn't do much. And as the executive to the assistant to the bishop, the puppets didn't do much. So it's been kind of good to get them out of the closet and out of the bag and let them do the things they do.
Well, glad they're back in action, living once again at Coming First Methodist Church. We're glad that
Sure.
they're here. Thank you for this wonderful ministry and for sharing that with us. It really adds a lot, and especially to our children. I think they all look forward to it. So every now and then you'll be gone, but all the other Sundays you're right here, accompanied with one of the puppets with you, and we look forward to that.
Yeah, I wish I could be here every Sunday, but sometimes I'm called away to other things.
Sure.
But when I'm here, one of the puppets will be here, as long as it seems to meet the need and feels good to the coming people.
Definitely does. Well, so it's just one of the things that we look forward to when we gather for worship on Sundays, and to see the puppets and to hear the message that they have for the children, and those of us who are not children in age, we still get to overhear and hear the message that applies for us just as much, because we're all children of God. So thank you so much for tuning in today at Matt Talk, and for learning more about all the puppets, and look forward to seeing them as they appear throughout the Christian year. Well, I hope to see you in Worship Sunday, and until the next time we are here with Matt Talk, I pray that the peace and the joy of Christ would be with you.